What is Columbina to Rerir? What is Rerir to Columbina? And what are both of them to Nordkrai's 3-moon problem? The Frost Moon, which is up there, the Eternal, which is dead and over here, and the missing iridescent one, likely down there. These questions have been stuck in my head since Luna 1's release, and even more now for the Luna 2 trailer. The red moon over a Hyperborean lake, Columbina asking the iridescent moon who should have been dead, allegedly, and Rerir's double moon arena keep looping in my head. Not just Harbingers and Sinners, and not just Moon Maiden and Conrian, but all of them. And that includes Renova and Arlecchino, as well as Perinheri. Cause they're all related deeper than we think. Why Rerir is willing to lose his body to chase a dead moon's ghost, and why the world is consuming Columbina's power the moment she was born. Hey guys, what's up? Aru. And in this video, we're taking a tight lore-driven look at Rerir, Columbina, and the iridescent moon, and how it all connects to the concept of death, which takes us back to Renova and Arlecchino. As always, timestamps will be down below, so let's get started. Let's start with this guy. This pretty boy psychopath who's too angry to die, Rerir is a pure-blooded Conrian sinner named or possibly marked with the blasphemy of death. Said to have fallen into the moon's reflection, came back in ghostly pieces, and somehow absorbs the power of moonlight instead of being wiped out by it, using Kuvaki to turn from this into this, which is quite the glow-up if you ask me. His goal is quite simple, but that's what makes it scary. Reach the iridescent moon's ghost through forbidden mirror paths, following Conrian rituals using still water as sacred mirrors, and make the moon's reflection replace the fake sky. That, I think, is the main reason the Wild Hunt is moving and why it was created in the first place, why Rerir actively sabotages Nordkrai, why he lingers by the Traveler's crash site, and why he also wants the Moon Marrow. It's to pull outer world data, but it's also to sniff out the shades, especially Renova, his exact celestial counterpart. Something worth noting for this to make sense is that we know that the Crimson Moon Dynasty reads signs of truth, and based on the latest artifact sets, they use still water as mirrors, and the Frost Moon Scions mention mirrors and inversion rites that open alternate worlds. That's also why Luna 2 is going to give us a glimpse of the Lake Vedrfolnir in the future. But that's more about Seelie and Nicole Rain rather than Columbina and Rerir. But with the Luna 2 trailer, we find out that this guy here, and pretty much everything he says, basically solidifies Rerir's ambition ever since he was either a child or in his young adult age. From possibly manipulating people and planning murders as a child, all the way to experimenting on dead Sumerians and probably leading people to their deaths. And dare I say, he might just be Perinheri and is the one who started this chase for the Crimson Moon in the first place. This is why we ended up in Sumeru with the gang and came to help Layla's moon delirium. And Layla's same delirium is also the very reason for Rerir's hyperfixation on the moon. Particularly for Rerir, it's about the concept of immortality and death, which also makes sense why Arlecchino is here too. But we'll talk about her and the rest of Conria later. From the Luna 2 trailer, Dainsleif Stone says this as well.
He betrayed me. Some friendship, that is.
Now I can only assume that he's talking about Rerir and not Vedrfolnir, since he would have mentioned brother instead of a friend. But then we hear this as well.
A visionless visionary?
I did indeed lose my power to see the future. Right up until just now, I believe I saw something new.
All of this points to Vedrfolnir, the Blasphemer of Time, the visionless visionary, at least currently, which sounds like Time just made a paradox around Death's own plan. Astaroth, the authority of Time, is up to something again, and this time it's with Renova. We compare the two trailer lines on screen with the Sinner's blasphemies, linked to Astaroth's timeline paradox, and Renova's immortal death paradox too. And it seems like Vedrfolnir's current time dilemma is seeing the future, which may mean that we'll see Astaroth's manifestation similar to Renova in Nordkrai. But now onto death itself, Tuanatar and the rites of death. Renova treats death as a rule and a price. The Hymns of the North specifies Renova's concept of eyes paid, eyes veiled, and names poured into forgetting. In contrast, Rerir pays a lot, not just using his eyes, but his entire existence. But he treats death like a door he can pass through, which is perfect for someone who uses the abyss to claim ascendance and become the blasphemer of death. Despite losing his entire physical body, his sheer will keeps walking toward the iridescent moon anyway. As much as it's a meme to say that this guy is too angry to die, he honestly is. And we also see this in Renova's rituals, eye offerings, veils being uncovered, and the interestingly similar drink of forgetting, which is the same as Arlecchino's bloodline that comes from the Crimson Moon dynasty. Crimson Moon, Iridescent Moon, Red Dynasty, and Red Abyss. I think we can see the connection here. But to get to the Iridescent Moon, he needs to go through Columbina first, and probably quite literally. For Columbina, Rerir is the man who fell into the moon's reflection and is now trying to call forth a dead moon's ghost, meaning the iridescent moon's corpse. It's why he's after the moon marrow, and it's also why he's after Columbina, but not why Columbina is hiding the iridescent moon's location and is talking to her. Apart from Rerir being after the iridescent moon, there's a different reason why the iridescent moon is seemingly still alive, and that reason is because of the shades and Celestia, which makes Columbina's message quite clear. The moon can be treacherous. I know she speaks about the fake moon and the fake sky, but what if she was talking about the frost moon being chained to the primordial one's rules? And the iridescent moon is actually the one to reveal the real truth instead, which makes sense why she asked the iridescent moon.
Iridescent moon, was this truly what you wished for?
So in a sense, Columbina is guarding the memory and history of the iridescent moon, but also letting us know that the iridescent moon didn't actually die. The Vulcan moon prophecy mentioned that the iridescent moon fell, but not exactly died. And I've been mulling over the theory that only one moon died and the other 3 moons are still alive. Columbina is our Arlecchino-scaring, Sandrone serenading, bread-munching moon maiden who was born on Hisi Island 500 years ago, raised by the Frost Moon Scions, then left when blessings turned into greedy demands. She later stood with the Fatui as harbinger and then leaving again because she also felt used. But now she's our dorky and awkward friend who kept the moon marrow safe and the moon's stories clean in her memory. At least that's all she can remember. Columbina's here to contain the iridescent moon's rights, protecting the moon marrow, and is currently trying to keep the remaining moons from dying. But she's also trying to find her true name and purpose for why exactly she was born after the cataclysm and from who exactly she was born from. The Eternal Moon, the Iridescent Moon, or the Frost Moon. Based on what we know, she might have been created as the 4th moon of Nibelung, which is quite true based on a lot of lore in Nod Krai. She can't be the new moon just yet, and it's probably because the iridescent moon's will isn't settled yet. She hasn't died properly. Trying to ascend while the mirror stays open, or while the iridescent moon is still somewhat alive but also dead, walks the same path that ruined Hyperborea all those years ago. And the prophecy regarding Nod Krai is about to repeat that same event. Unless a certain visionless visionary can do the same thing he did on Fontaine in Nod Krai. A prophecy meant to happen, but in a different way. This is why Vedrfolnir is important here. A similar prophecy is going to happen, a flood and the cleansing of sins, but not in the way that you think. From Rerir's perspective, Columbina is the last gate or the last hurdle to achieve his own magnum opus like Rhindaughter did. This aligns well with Rerir's mad cry against Rhindaughter and Vedrfolnir too. Both of them were able to achieve their own ascendance, their magnum opus basically, but Rerir still hasn't gotten what he wanted, which is complete control over death through the abyss. If Columbina ever sang to bring the moon back, then she'd be the exact same as the Crimson Moon dynasty, which is taking the iridescent moon's power for granted. But because she won't, and well, she's just a good person in general, Rerir now tries to beat her in a place where 2 moons hang, one for the moon above and one for below. Quite a reflective mirror world where he fell too. A perfect reflection of a moon's face where he fell 500 years ago, one alive and one seemingly dead. Now you might be wondering where Arlecchino and Perinheri fall into place here. Well, Arlecchino is also the perfect reflection of the iridescent moon, albeit all the negative sides being used in a more positive way. But she is also what Rerir was trying to become in a much more powerful and descender level sense. Her look and methods are similar to Renova: wing shapes, spiral eye marks, death, and a similar drink of forgetting from folklore. Tuonetar and Arlecchino both give out drinks that make people forget their lives and memories. And she also links to Perinheri, the one who called the moon a giant red eye, which might have actually been Rerir. Luna 2's trailer shows off a bunch of children killed off or probably unconscious in a very similar manner to the old House of Hearth. And the House of Hearth actually is similar to the orphanage that Conria used to have that housed Outlanders and Descenders. And Rerir can be seen in both child form and young adult form, experimenting on the dead and killing people. And Arlecchino, as said in her voice lines, ended up in a strange twist of fate where the House of Hearth stemmed from the same orphan from the Crimson Moon Dynasty. So Rerir might actually be the owner of the Crimson Moon Dynasty's orphanage and the House of Hearth, and might actually be Perinheri. You can even find the name Rerir inside of Perinheri instead of Perware. But the similar first three letters of their names might just be a lineage name for the House of Hearth. The name Per. No, not Pears the penguin, I mean the Slavic and Scandinavian word per, or strength, which fits oddly well with Conria's mythological origins or Norse paganism and the current-day Snezhnaya's Slavic myths and naming, which then creates Perinheri, Perware, Rerir, and Per. If this is correct, then the relations of all these characters point to the Crimson Moon, the Iridescent Moon, which is honestly what's going to happen in Luna 2. But there's only one result to that conflict: death. Multiple instances of paradoxical deaths and immortality coming together, which can and will call upon the very authority of death herself again, Renova, more aptly named in Node Krai as Tuonetar, the origin of the Crimson Moon Dynasty, and its various connected characters, the pair Bloodline. This is the likely prophecy that Vedrfolnir has seen, and is the same prophecy of the Welkin Moon, which is also the same song played during the Luna 1 concert, the song of the old moon's fall and the rise of the new moon, Columbina's song of prophecy. And there we go, Rerir's death-defying chase, Columbina's moon promise, and how the iridescent moon's will is actually to call forth the very people who are so connected to death. Vedrfolnir's prophecy and similarity to Fontaine's flood is possibly just a night of two moons. And maybe Renova takes a different price for the iridescent moon defying so many deaths. Heck, maybe Easteroth might chime in and put our spaceship somewhere in the middle of all of that too. Comment below what ending you think will be in 6.1, I mean Luna 2, and if you think that the Crimson Moon Dynasty should be led by Renova already, because her Children of Death are going to make quite a mess. Poor Renova, always cleaning up after everyone. May she rest in peace. Now, if you enjoyed this fifth installment of Node Krai's lore, do drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content like these. These dead eggheads have been living in my head rent-free since Luna 1, honestly. And actually, no, since Arlecchino released. But that's gonna be it for now. I'll see you guys in the next video, yeah? And as always, stay mad, theorists. Bye!